Okay, now prepare to meet our next keynote speaker, who is remotely joining us from Hong Kong. Kim-See Lim, the Regional Director of East Asia and the Pacific at the International Finance Corporation World Bank Group.
Hello, and welcome to the summit. Let me begin with a simple statistic. Asia is home to over 60% of the world's population. This number is expected to rise in the next 30 years as the region continues to witness rapid urbanization, creating an unprecedented demand for housing and commercial property. Rapid urbanization represents major economic and social opportunities, but uncontrolled urban expansion also limits the country and the region's overall growth potential. Carbon emissions and economic growth have always been closely intertwined. So the key question is, how do we decouple economic growth from greenhouse gas emissions? As the private and public sectors strive to meet growing demand for space for an ever-growing population, it is critical we don't lose sight of our collective goal to reduce carbon emissions. Rebuilding economies to be greener and more sustainable will not only chart a pathway towards a fairer, more resilient world, but also will strengthen the economic recovery brought by conflict and geopolitical tensions. The lingering impacts of COVID-19 and the rising global inflation are factors too. As the largest global development organization working with the private sector in emerging markets, the International Finance Corporation, or IFC, aims to promote a green, resilient, and inclusive recovery for all. IFC is uniquely placed to help emerging markets mobilize the necessary private capital to decarbonize their economies and to adapt to a warming planet. We recognize the important role of the private sector in inspiring innovation, improving skills, and unlocking the financing needed to achieve these goals. But it also needs ample capital to do so. IFC is already working with countries to implement a green recovery that can stimulate economies and create jobs, while accelerating the green transition to a cost-efficient way, helping countries rebuild better. As part of the World Bank Group's new Climate Change Action Plan, IFC is intensifying its work across sectors and regions. At IFC, we will align 85% of our new direct investments with the objectives of the Paris Alignment starting July 1st, 2023, and 100% of those investments starting July 1st, 2025. From now through our fiscal year 2025, we will seek to increase our climate finance to 35% on average from our own account, up from 30% in the fiscal year 2020, working to create markets and unlock private sector climate investments. One of IFC's focus areas in Asia Pacific is to improve access to climate-smart, sustainable infrastructure services in emerging markets, which will in turn open markets, spur growth, and create jobs. For countries in the Asia Pacific region, we prioritize on two fronts: climate change mitigation and climate change adaptation. Allow me to share a couple of examples of IFC's initiatives in this space, specifically with partners working in the real sector. Through investments in property, we aim to promote the development of affordable housing and essential urban infrastructure, incorporating the latest green building standards and technology. IFC, in partnership with HSBC Global Asset Management, launched Rail Sector Green Investment Opportunity, or the REGIO Fund, in 2018 to finance issuances from rail sector companies, an important new class of borrowers in the green bond market. REGIO has mobilized $530 million in private sector capital to finance largely non-financial companies. Just last month, we partnered with Capital Land Escort Trust, serving as a sole subscriber for sustainability-linked bonds in the hospitality sector. The proceeds of the bond will be used to refinance Capital Land's existing borrowings and to further decarbonize 3 of its service residences in Indonesia and Philippines. IFC's innovative new tool and platform, Building Resilience Index, launched in the Philippines in FY22 and soon to be launched in Vietnam, Indonesia, India, and the Pacific Islands helps building owners and developers assess, manage, and rate the resilience of their real estate assets. This offer complements IFC's EDGE Green Building Certification program towards decarbonizing real estate assets. EDGE has seen tremendous growth in the region, with developers stepping up decarbonization at the portfolio level while raising ambitions through net zero buildings using EDGE Zero Carbon certification. As you will see, there is so much we can do in terms of climate adaptation and mitigation in the rail sector. Governments cannot do it alone. Private sector investments are urgently needed if we are going to succeed in transitioning to net zero carbon emissions. Let me start by saying that Asia is critical in determining whether the climate battle will be won or lost. So let's chart a pathway towards a safer, more secure, inclusive, and prosperous future for all. Thank you.